Hello, it's Pastor Andrew with another video devotional for us about the attributes of God. Last night we talked about God's jealousy. And in doing so, we specifically talked about how God is jealous for our relationship with Him, as a husband is, you could say, jealous for his wife's affections. And the word jealousy maybe is a little of a bad word for us to use in English because it always has a negative connotation. But when it relates to God, it's not so. It's not wrong, for instance, for a husband to desire that his wife's romantic affections be for him by himself. And that's how God is jealous for us as well, and why He takes idolatry so seriously. But tonight I want us to think about a different kind of God's jealousy, maybe a little more difficult for us to get our minds around. But if we do, as we begin to comprehend this, it really unearths for us some of the greatest depths of spiritual development that we can have, because when we rightly understand this part of God's jealousy, it takes the magnifying glass off of ourselves and puts it on God where it belongs. And it's His jealousy for His own glory. Now, to help us understand this, I want to illustrate this in this way. I want you to imagine that you and a friend have gone out camping, and you are in the middle of just wide open spaces. Let's imagine it's in the middle of Montana, and the night sky is stretching from horizon to horizon above you, and there is no neighboring towns within many, many miles away, so there's no light pollution whatsoever. So you're able to look up in the sky and see the Milky Way galaxy for all that it is, just the billions of stars in the sky above you. And then suddenly, as you're looking at it, unexpected, there is this meteor shower, just hundreds of meteors going across the sky right above you, and you are just blown away by what you're seeing. In fact, tears are brought to your eyes because it's so beautiful. You've never seen anything like it before. And as you're looking at it, you wish to share in just the experience of it with your friend, and you look over at your friend to comment on what you're seeing, and you notice that your friend is on their phone. They're looking at Facebook, scrolling through Facebook. And you ask them, you say, have you not looked? Have you not seen what's going on? Why are you looking at Facebook? And your friend says, yeah, I saw, but once you've seen it for a second or two, it's kind of the same thing over and over again. And so I just started looking at my phone. What would you think of your friend in that situation? I think you would rightly think that they have misplaced values, that they've got their loves are, as Augustine, the great theologian of the Christian Church, would say, they have their loves are out of order. They have rejected something that is of infinite beauty, and have adopted in its place something that is so diminishing as Facebook. You might even think there's something wrong with their heart, with their capacity to experience glory, beauty, and this sort of a thing. Well, this is from a created perspective, seeing things like this and how we ought to respond in the presence of such beauty in the created order. How much more when we are talking about our own Creator, the one who made the night sky, the one who made the sun, the earth, the moon, and the stars. If we are the type of people who are not overcome by this glory, well, that means there's something inherently wrong with us. It would be, in fact, wrong for God to be okay with that, because it would be unloving for God to look at His creatures and to be okay with them delighting in trifles, because it is destructive to their souls. And so God is jealous for His own glory, because His glory is of infinite worth and value, and it alone should be worshipped and magnified and focused upon. And so there is a passage of Scripture, Ezekiel chapter 36, verses 22 through 23, that illustrates this well for us. It says, "Therefore say to the house of Israel, this is what the sovereign Lord says. It is not for your sake, O house of Israel, that I am going to do these things, but for the sake of my holy name, which you have profaned among the nations, where you have gone. I will show the holiness of my great name, which has been profaned among the nations, the name you have profaned among them. Then the nations will know that I am the Lord, declares the sovereign Lord, when I show myself holy through you before their eyes." Now, I don't want you to get sidewinded by this. I don't want you to think that this means that God does not act for our well-being. Clearly, He does. He gave His Son to die for us. But what I do want you to get from this is that if at the heart of your understanding of God, if at the heart of your understanding of the cross is yourself, then you have not understood the gospel for its best and for the full depth of it. At the heart of the gospel is God Himself. Because if God was to give us anything less than Himself, it would be idolatry. It would be unloving, because He would be giving us something that is not of the worth of His glory and His character and His own person. And so God is unbelievably concerned about His glory, because it alone is worth everything. And so rightly, He is concerned that we focus on His glory as well. And as we do so, as we remove our minds off of ourselves, or off of others even in some respects, and focus our attention on Him, we find that we discover what we were truly made for. We find that we are actually, for the first time, free. And we find that we are able to be all that God has created us to be in that respect. I know this is a difficult one. I hope that it helps you begin to think maybe in new ways about God that perhaps you haven't before. God bless. Hope you have a good night, and we'll see you soon.